What's up? It's Lip Service. I'm Angela Yee.
I'm Gigi Maguire.
I'm Stephanie Santiago.
Sir Marvelous
Syphon The Unicorn.
All right. Well, this is going to be an interesting episode for us. So, Sir Marvelous, we saw you in our DMs, sliding in the DMs, and we were like, this is interesting because we did previously have on a female dom,
Mistress Marley.
Mistress Marley.
Yeah, we're good friends.
And her sub, Beta Bitch. Okay. And so now you are a male dom.
Yes.
All right. So explain to us, for people who are listening, what exactly does that mean?
Well, for me, I identify as a sensual BDSM dominant. So I provide sensual experiences or introduction to BDSM. One of my missions, or I should say the biggest mission I'm on, is to try to teach people that BDSM is not as crazy as most people think it is, that it has a sensual approach and that you can actually use a lot of the sensual BDSM ideas for different ways of foreplay and to build arousal and things like that. So I'm hoping to show you guys some stuff that I brought with me today.
Oh, we're going to get a demo today. So
Yeah.
Syphon, so her relationship is she's your sub.
Yes.
Okay, so now you told me, because, you know, you were saying she's the boss. Now, I thought that you were supposed to be the boss, but you said that's a misconception.
Yeah, it is one of the biggest misconceptions. I'm not allowed to do anything without her consent. That's first of all. And second of all, it still doesn't change the way that the world is. I believe, in my opinion, when a man is not as full as he can be without a good woman, you know what I mean, supporting him. So a lot of the times she helps me bring me up to where I want to be in life in a lot of different ways, both business-wise and in this relationship. When it's time for us to perform, when it's time for me to put on a show and do what I do, yeah, that's when I normally lead. When it comes to, you know, engaging with clients and, you know, just performing in general, like I take the lead on how, I guess we run those plays, so to speak. But as far as everything else, she's the boss.
Syphon is
Behind the scenes manager of things. His calendar, the scheduling, making sure that he has the dry cleanings that he needs so he can look good.
Financing.
Everything. Yeah. Making sure our inventory in the dungeon is good.
So is the relationship strictly business?
No.
It's a real relationship.
We have a regular relationship and a DS relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like layers.
Is Sir Marvelous your first dom?
Yes.
Okay.
First and only.
So how did that happen?
Right, that was my question.
Yeah.
How did this come about?
I was at a party. I was at a lifestyle party and he was performing. He was doing demonstrations and I was like really excited to meet him. We knew he was coming ahead of time. I was able to stalk his Instagram and check out everything he was into. And I got there. He did a demo. I was like, I need more of this. I need like an actual session. So I had that session and we went to a party afterwards. I saw him doing more demos at that party. And I just was like, he's so talented. And he really makes women feel so, when they leave the table, they're like on the moon. And I'm a pleaser, so I can empathize with that, you know? And I'm like, more women need to feel this, that he needs to be able to have this power to help all these women feel what I felt on that table and what I witness other women feel when they're on the table.
But let's do a practice negotiation session with Stephanie and Sir Marvelous.
What?
Okay, because you negotiate,
Yes,
right?
yes,
It's a
absolutely,
negotiation that
absolutely.
happens.
Every time.
So you're gonna give us an example and walk through it, okay?
Okay.
Excellent. So, Stephanie, have you ever heard of impact play before?
Impact play?
Impact play. Hold this for me, baby.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get up.
I don't know. Tell me.
There's no wrong answer.
Please,
There's no wrong
no,
answer.
I haven't.
Okay, excellent. So impact play is most commonly recognized as like spankings or like paddling or flogging and things like that. And one of the biggest misconceptions about impact play is that it always involves intensity, pain, bruising in some cases, when the reality is when it's done right, it doesn't have to involve any of those things. A big part of what we're trying to do is trying to create rhythm with that spanking. Also, that rhythm is also going to produce blood flow or send blood flow to certain parts of the body that are going to potentially bring you to arousal and aid in orgasm, especially when you couple that with like dirty talk, a blindfold, maybe a choking around the neck. Of course, when we, you know, if you
All
consent to
things you
things
do
like
now.
that. So, you know what I mean?
Spicy.
and-
All the things you
Hello, I'm
already
in the middle of a negotiation.
So So I'm a big fan of impact play. I have quite a few tools. We're just going to role play like we're in a dungeon right now. I have quite a few tools with me. I have some floggers here. I want to show you what those materials feel like. I will give you a brief demonstration of what that feels like, and you could just tell me yes or no to any and every tool that you want to use.
Okay. So that's how we negotiate.
So yeah, we would go through one.
Well, testing.
Would you let somebody
figure
test
out what I like and what I don't like?
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. And
you would do that, a flogging.
What's a flogging?
So the floggers are made of leather. So they provide like a leather, like I said a leather. They provide like a thuddy feeling or a thuddy sensation. So you actually pass this to her, and she can just like hit it on her leg really quickly.
Hit your booty, Steph.
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. Is that too painful?
I like this one.
Yeah. So
it's not bad.
Go ahead, try it, Gigi.
It's like a leather ping pong
Come on, baby.
Look.
Okay, so we're doing some play here.
Is that too painful?
What do you think? It's cute, right?
It's cute.
So when you use more than one at a time,
sanitize that.
When you use more than one at a time, you're able to create, a rhythmic motion, and all that vibration is sending good feelings to her pussy, her vulva, all parts of her body, in fact. And like I said, we're not just solely doing spankings. We're going to couple that with other things that feel good as well.
Like what?
So what else?
Yeah.
Dirty talk, blindfold.
The smell of the room.
I know that I wouldn't like the fringy one because I feel like that has little prickly feelings, and I like more of a solid. Like when I like to get slapped. And I like a slap is a one one solid movement instead of getting like pricked in your face, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're into this already.
I'm not into it.
You just don't call it BDSM.
That's the truth. That's the biggest
It is. If you like getting slapped, you just like getting paddled.
What other options are there? There's a paddle,
What's on the menu?
then there's the flogger
What's
with the
this spiky
fringies.
thing I see?
So what else?
So this is another one of my favorite floggers. I speak about this one all the time. And I love that you said that you probably wouldn't be into this particular one, because another thing that I love to do is I buy particular tools that look scary, intimidating, or crazy. And you're like, I don't put that anywhere near me. And then when I'm able to show a person how I intend to use it, they're like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. So something like this, you can pass this to Gigi.
Okay, G. Let's see, because I feel like you could try it on Stephanie since she thinks she won't like it.
No, so I'm going to tell you what to do and what not to do. So something like that, it looks scary, it looks intimidating, but it doesn't feel bad.
It's
also,
very light.
Sometimes I may, put that in my freezer in my dungeon and make it cold.
And
sometimes
the
it looks like a Givenchy bag.
Yeah.
It
does look like maybe
it's not
something
like
you put on the Givenchy bag.
It's sharp, but it's not painful.
It's not painful at all.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So how do you use it?
So I would slide that across someone's nipples, across their body. When it's cold, it feels good sometimes, or sometimes I may heat it up with like fire play. Different sensations. Dragging it.
So how do you do it?
So for starters, you would use it for sensation play. You would use it for sensation play, just dragging it right, just like that across her naked body.
Goosebumps.
Exactly.
You did on the mic. You did on the mic.
Oh, really?
Yes. Exactly. Gigi, you got it right there.
Gigi, you're good at this.
Now, you can actually spank a person with it. It doesn't hurt. You can try
I'm
it
not going to spank her with it. You want me to?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Just one time. Not hard. Not hard. There you go.
There you
No,
go.
it's not that bad. Do it again.
Yeah. Now, aim for the eyes.
It's not bad.
Aim for the
bad.
eyes. Right. The eyes.
It's a little
Right.
harder.
See,
Right.
it's not bad.
Right. And remember,
bad.
you want to start slow with anything that you're doing.
But I'm masochista.
Yeah,
I like pain.
Now, I feel like
I
Gigi,
don't
you've
like
done this
pain. That's a
before.
lie.
She looked like a pro. I heard you speak. Trust me.
She was doing that too good.
Yeah, I haven't done it like on a professional level, but y'all know I'll try anything once, maybe 3 times.
Maybe 3.
Right. I say the same thing all the time. Try anything 1, 2, 3 times, make sure.
All right, well, let's finish negotiating. Now let's move to Gigi and let's negotiate.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah, because I'm like, everything. I'm terrible.
At first she wasn't into it, but she's like, no, do it harder.
I'm a terrible negotiator.
So are you comfortable with any form of bondage or sensory deprivation, such as blindfolds? Are you comfortable with a blindfold? Okay, so we'll try something like a blindfold today. Have you tried any type of rope play before?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So role play happens to be one of my favorite things to engage in. One of the things that tends to really work for people that are engaging in role play is the feel of feeling, your partner or the person that's tying you up, like controlling your body. And there are many different ways that we can tie a person up. I like to refer to it as one being a restrictive way where you actually feel bonded. And the second one is a decorative way where I'm actually just tying the rope around you to make a decorative design that just looks pretty on you.
Really.
But it's not restraining you at all. You
Restrain
fully
me.
move.
Selfie time.
Exactly. So
Tie me down.
some people feel really, really good. It's almost like a natural high when you
You
feel
guys are
the
too
rope.
advanced, I feel like, because we're trying to do like these beginner things.
Well,
Yeah,
so-
she's like, no, I want the worst.
I don't want to be able to breathe.
So I'm like,
Tie me,
my
put the ball in my mouth, close my eyes.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of people that don't know what they'd be into until
Right.
they start actually understanding what it actually means within BDSM. So I like to be spanked. I like to be choked, but I didn't know that was because I would like to have like the restriction of like my airflow and feeling like somebody controlling me, having somebody spank me for the rhythm and how it feels. Like I had no idea that's what it was. And it wasn't until I met him, he was able to really like show me what those things really mean.
What's the most advanced that you've gone? Like as far as the most, I don't want to say dangerous, but maybe the intensity level.
Oh.
That's a good question.
How do we measure the levels? I think.
Right.
What's the
Because it feels
It's-
like a lot of this that we're talking about right now is not necessarily pain, right? But so for the level of intensity as far as this is, I do feel this somewhat. What is the most intense level of physical,
So I know how to explain that one, if I may.
Please.
So just
I just
again,
take it.
when I started, I said that I identify as a sensualist. So for me, what that means is that I'm not a very intense person when it comes to pain. It's all about sensations. However, I am sadistic in the sense of I like to torture people with pleasure. So I'm big on forced orgasms. I'm big on orgasm control. The idea of somebody forcing you to orgasm over and over and over and over and over again can be very, very intense.
sounds like
point.
torture.
Yeah, it can, so that is one of our scenes.
Yeah, sounds like
Sounds like that time I
Oh my God.
squirted.
Yeah.
I'll fall asleep
Yeah.
right in the middle. Like, oh, you think you can keep going?
So that's how our level of intensity normally goes. And there are many people that practice BDSM where they're spanking a person to the point where they're bruising or they're getting red, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially if the person that is
They like
it.
They want
and
that, yeah.
of course you build up to it. You know what I mean? A lot of times people think that when you spank somebody, you go really hard, really soon. You guide them all the way, and you ask the person throughout the scene, hey, can I go a little harder? Can you take a little more? Is this okay? You're checking in with them. And of course, if they say yes, you go deeper. But again, I try to keep the pain thing to like a
So for you, it's more of a sensual feeling than a painful feeling.
And when you say rhythm, it's funny because like I've had with guys, not all guys are brave enough to spank you, you know? But sometimes, you get a bruto, like you get somebody who's a brute and you're like, and I will literally turn around and tell them like, bro, you gotta find the rhythm,
Right.
you know?
Too
Like,
much.
You can't just
right.
go
Yeah.
crazy.
If you're gonna
You
do
have
it, do
to
it
find
right.
the rhythm.
knowing where to hit a person
It's
and how to
really
hit them
important.
is important. There are more meaty parts of our body that can take a little bit more intensity, and there are other parts you just want to stay away from completely. You know what I mean? So
What about slapping? Because Gigi, Stephanie, you guys both like being slapped, right? I know Stephanie more than you probably.
I love slapping.
Yeah, I like to be slapped. I like to be choked. I like pain.
You like slapping?
I'm a pain.
I mean,
freak. I like to be hurt.
I love it.
Like honestly, yeah.
I love
Like
it.
my friends always tell me like tattoos and piercings and stuff like that. And they be like, "Did it hurt?" And then I'll be like, "You
I
know
loved
not
it.
to ask
Yeah.
me that."
Right. You're not the right person to
I'm a
ask.
freak of nature when it comes to pain. Like I can take for my little teeny body, I can take a lot of pain. So, and when you add that with like sex or sexual activities,
Exactly.
it becomes pleasure for me.
Yeah,
So-
and I feel like it's really sexy. Like when you're kissing, like when you're in that moment and you're kissing, and then they stop and like you spit, and then it's a slap, and, then it's like a
So what about bodily fluids?
Okay.
Right? Like spitting, urinating, any of those things?
So
Defecation.
So when it comes to how I engage with clients, there's no bodily fluids exchange and things like that. The way
There's some bodily fluids.
not exchanged.
I mean, not exchange.
Not exchanged.
But
No,
it's given.
they're squirted.
Like what? Like what?
There's I mean,
There's a lot of squirting.
There's a lot of squirting.
Okay.
I have a lot to clean up after.
Wow.
So, but yeah, as far as when her and I engage, it's all hands on deck. You know what I mean? As far as what we're able to do.
What about anal?
And she's a lover of anal. Anal is actually one of the best ways to make a person come if you do it correctly. And you can come back to back too without a refract time, without having to wait for you to like calm down. You could go right into the next orgasm.
I'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
I didn't.
That's
Syphon, were you always able to come during anal, or is this something that just with Sir Marvelous?
Always.
Okay, so you've always been.
I've always liked that, but it's because of that. It's because the orgasm that comes from anal is so intense. Mm-hmm. It's so intense that you feel it throughout your entire body, and you're just like, keep going. I made it. Keep going.
Yes.
Let's keep
I
doing
made
this.
it.
Yeah.
So one thing
maybe
about,
add some more stuff in here. I don't know.
So I was going to say one thing about orgasms in general for women is normally when they do experience an orgasm, it's easier for the next one to occur. Mm-hmm. The hardest one, they say, is the first orgasm. And anal sex is so good for orgasm when you do it correctly, because the A spot and the G spot are being stimulated at the same time. And when you combine that with like a vibrator on the clit, it's literally works mad.
So that's what you meant when you said add some more stuff in here.
Add some more stuff.
I thought you meant your butt. I was like, all right.
Well, I mean, it depends on the night.
Now, what's the difference in pay? Because I know women doms get paid. Mm-hmm. I've heard way better than a male dom would get paid because there's less of you guys, and some people feel like women, we don't got to pay for things.
Absolutely.
Right? We can just be like, come over here and spank me, and there'll be 30 guys lined up.
Oh, yeah, I get that a lot.
What you mean I got to give you $300?
Yeah,
respectfully, yeah, I get that. I would say some certain caliber of women believe that there is no reason that they have to pay because they look good or, stuff like that. And I'm like, that means nothing to me because you're not going to experience what I can give with anybody else without them either putting in the work to learn those things or learning from me. So I know my value in that sense. So,
Period.
So like how much? Yeah, so on average, like with pricing.
With pricing?
Mm-hmm. How much is it?
It's $300 an hour at the moment. The prices will go up over time.
How did I know that?
Yeah.
You know a lot.
Yes,
You know a lot, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Clearly.
So, yeah. And like I said, the whole point of doing these podcasts and just, putting the groundwork in is so that it could become more mainstream. People to know where to go to find this type of information or where to go to even experience things like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You think 50 Shades of Grey really helped with that too?
I don't. No,
because I feel like it made it was like a mainstream
it opened the conversation,
book and movie, and it made people want to be like, I want to try that.
I think that it definitely romanticized it, which I have mixed emotions about the representation
was more of a novelty thing than what it really is for you guys as professionals.
It definitely skipped a lot of the things that we definitely
there was no negotiation. There was no real communication.
You don't just bring that on
It was just a lot of him bossing her around and her being like, okay.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem, especially, when it comes to promoting BDSM. People believe that you're forcing women to do things or men to do things. And reality is, like I said, we're not allowed to do anything or you shouldn't ever do anything without a person's consent. You know what I mean? And also that movie, he's a billionaire. Like, who can't get wooed by a billionaire?
Right.
Yeah, that made it
That's
real
what
easy.
I said earlier.
When she mentioned it, I was like, he was picking her up on a helicopter on a private jet to
taking her shopping
to the airbags, and then
of course she's gonna say yes, daddy. Whatever.
I'm like, okay, we could think about
anything you
fisting.
like.
See if a broke guy could get away with that.
All right.
Yeah. He was like, your boss bothered you? I brought your company. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Now, what are some things that you won't do that women have asked you to do?
Oh man, these are some good questions. Nobody has actually asked me to do anything outrageous. A lot of the times when people come to me, they're coming to me with no experience, and they're hoping to learn something new about themselves or learn, something that they never tried that they would like.
How often are you surprised by these newcomers that end up being like, okay?
Yeah. All the time. It's hard. I am literally learning every day that you cannot judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Like, I'm like, I'm thinking, oh, this person probably won't be, and they are completely enthralled by everything that's happening.
Ones, right?
Yes.
And you have some good Yelp reviews.
Yes, I love reading the reviews. That's something that really does it for me. I'm big on like words of affirmation and things like that.
Yep.
And I know you guys are going to help us out and give us a demonstration today, but I want to know some more, okay, as far as what makes somebody a good client for you.
Okay. For me, I would say it's just, respect and communication, hygiene. I believe that the way that you put yourself out there is the way that people try to match you. Of course, you're going to have people that are like outliners that are going to just be whatever. But I've been blessed to be able to say that I haven't had anybody come crazy, over here or, come at me crazy or ask me for something ridiculous.
You mentioned hygiene really quickly. Let's delve into that.
Let's delve all the way.
Because I come from the strip club world, right? Everybody knows I was a stripper for a decade plus. And, hygiene is always a thing.
Right.
Like even recently, shout out to my best friend, my homeboy. We were having a conversation the other day. And I was telling him that my friend was coming into town to work at Magic City and she was going straight off the plane to the club. Yeah. And he's like, well, where's she going to wash that pussy at? And I'm like, at the club. There's a shower. And he's like, fresh off the plane to the club to wash the pussy. And I'm like, well, I'm sure she washed it before she got on the plane.
Right.
But what do you think is going to happen to her pussy on the plane that it's not still going to be fresh when she gets off? But that's always a question. Like even like a ignorant person, they'll see a video in a strip club and in the comments they'll be like, oh, I bet it's stinking there. Like, stuff like that. And yes, we do have the times where you might come across someone who really isn't that fresh. But in your profession, I know in my bubble how we handle it. But in your profession, how do you handle someone that you feel like?
Again, I haven't experienced that. I believe because people book so far in advance that they have the time to if I know I'm going for a 2 to 4 hour experience with somebody, I'm going to be as fresh as I can. So even if, and I don't know, even if they're not fresh on any other day or somebody else might have had a different experience with them, I know when they step foot in my dungeon, they try their best to have everything up to par because somebody's going to be in between my legs. Even at the doctor, my mom used to tell me, you're going to the doctor, make sure you everything,
clean it up.
Clean underwear, clean everything. You know what I mean?
You never did anal and some girl shitted on you?
So that's a good question. So poop is a part of anal. It's not always necessary. I do try to encourage enemas before somebody does anal training.
I mean, actually, no one does it on purpose though.
No. But
that's something that you can't help.
Yeah, you can't. You gotta be a grown up about certain things. If you're gonna do anal, you gotta be okay with a little
that's
poop.
where it comes from. Right?
It is what it is.
Everyone poops.
You know what I mean?
Not me.
I keep.
Everyone except
Stephanie
doesn't poop. I had a boyfriend years ago that refused to do anal because he said that he didn't want me to poop on him, and I'm like, he's like, I don't want shit on my dick, and I'm like,
you don't know what you're missing.
You sound so crazy. Like you think I'm going to purposely, like you think I'm not going to prepare myself for us to do. I'm asking you to do it. You don't think I'm going to be ready? Yeah. And he's like, nah, I'll pass. So sadly, we never had anal. But
sadly,
y'all still together?
No, this was an ex years and years.
So then that says
this was an ex thrice removed.
When somebody's really like, I feel like when a person really cares about another person's pleasurable experience, like. They're gonna do what needs to be done, and it's something.
But what if it's uncomfortable for you? Because I've never done anal. I feel like it's uncomfortable for me. I can't do it. So again, it's one of the things I do anal training. That's something that's really popular that people always ask for because anal training.
So because people have tried anal and it wasn't good for them. You know what I mean? And I'm a big advocate of it. And I ask a person.
I am people.
So all right, we're gonna negotiate with you since I did with them. All right. So let's pretend that you were open to speaking about just anal training. Just speaking about.
I'm open to speaking about anal.
So my first question would be, have you tried anal before?
I actually wanted to try to do it, but it just wouldn't work. My butt was like really tense and tight. Saw him coming, it was like.
So my second question would be, the person that you tried it with, did they read any books? Did they watch any videos? Did you guys go to any workshops before trying this?
No.
So that is the difference between doing it with somebody that knows what they're doing. And I'm not saying that every single time somebody's ever did anal successfully is because they read a book. But if you want,
that's a good idea though. If somebody tries anal, I'm gonna be like, you need to go to a workshop first.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Like, I know that you have so many businesses that you run on the side besides this, that you wouldn't even work with a person if you felt like they didn't have the credentials to get the job done
right. I need
right.
a business plan.
Yeah, this is your body. Like, you need to make sure that people are knowing what they're doing, you know what I mean? Or care enough
Like, did you bring the lube? Did you bring the butt plug?
Right.
Are you prepared for this?
Did you wash that motherfucker out first?
Yes. All of that, you know what I mean? We spend more time educating ourselves on other things than the body that we're going to be stuck with for the rest of our lives. You know what I mean? So have somebody, like, you guys can read a book together. There's, I forget the name of the book, but there are many things that you can read. There are videos on YouTube that you can watch for anal training.
Put it in my butt.
And yeah, taking your time. And when people say taking their time, they think that just going slow means all the things. Taking your time can mean over the course of the next few months, I'm just getting
I feel like you got to do it
it
like ripping off a Band-Aid.
No, I think that's why so many people don't like the experience.
I'm gonna be very clear about this. Anal should never have to be painful. It should never have to be painful. There are people that love anal so much that they like the pain that comes with a little bit of a rush, but if you do it correctly, it's not painful at all.
Syphon, how did you do it?
So I got fortunate. So so that's the problem. A lot of people will have their first encounter with anal with someone who doesn't know what they're doing. They think, I'm just going to stick it in and that's going to be it. First of all, especially if you have a condom on, that is not going to work out for you.
Especially if you're very large.
You need lube. So I had someone who had done it before with other partners. They knew what they were doing. They took their time. You know, it was like beforehand. Actually, we like took a bath together. Then it was like, okay, now we're going to try this. And, you know, there was plenty of lube, slow and steady. But once you get past a certain point, once the full head is in, I'm going to be honest. Once the full head is in, it's like, let's go.
You might as well.
Let's
Especially
go. Now
if
I'm
it's
throwing
one
it back.
of those mushroom tops that we like to look at so
You
much.
guys are making this sound so appealing.
It's not bad, Angela.
And it's good if you come
I haven't
first.
done it in a while, but last time
But why not?
Because, you know, I'm just, the partner that I have right now is just not.
He's not into it?
It's just not what we're doing.
But he put his finger in your butt.
No.
No? Okay.
But the last time that I did have anal was probably one of the best anal experiences I had. Like, I was like riding it and I spun around with it still in and everything.
Oh my God.
Not spun around, spun around.
Yeah, I spun around. Spun around. And it was a really, really, really good experience for both of us, of course. And if that is the last time that I'm going to experience it, it was a great time. So I'll live with that.
You just have to think about it now.
Yeah.
Now, Syphon, so when it comes to Sir Marvelous and pleasing him, right?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. What are some things that he likes? Because now you have to be like, okay, there's this standard of what he does for you. Now, how do you please him?
Okay. So, let me because this is going to be, all right, there's a bunch. So, he's a dom, so constantly his attention is on the woman, whoever's on his table, whomever he's having a session with. So it's always like all attention on them all the time. And it's really not, even though he gets pleasure from it, it's not for him, you know? So what I try to do, especially in our sex life, is prioritize him. So it gives me an opportunity to kind of just be like a tiger. I just jump on him. I'm always jumping on him, doing something, rubbing his feet, but that foot massage will turn into something else. Yes. And, you know, let me rub your shoulders, and then that'll turn into something else. And then I'm on top of him. And it's just like prioritizing him and kind of making him feel good, relaxed, and cared for. Like, I like to run baths for him first so that he's able to kind of just
relax,
decompress a little bit, you know, and you do everything for everybody. So I like to do for him.
So to piggyback off her, I know that answer may have seemed like anybody would like that, but for me particularly, like, my two fetishes are massages. Like, I literally have a fetish for massage. Like, I want to be rich so that I could get a massage twice a day.
Trust me, we all would.
Yeah, exactly. So
I would love to be a massage tester.
Just
I had a massage in Mexico.
You know,
so two people at the same time. It was amazing.
I heard about I seen the massage that you got when you was on.
So good.
Two people at the same time.
So it was a woman working on my upper body and a man working on my lower body, and it was amazing.
It was heaven, right?
Yeah.
So that's really something that we provide as well. So,
so you also do massages, right? Yes. I've seen that.
Yeah. So I don't. That's a good point. I actually don't do any BDSM without a sensual massage first. I think it's super important to get a person comfortable, to wake up.
Are you
wake up
certified?
their body. No, I'm not certified, but I'm really good. Really good. So, But yeah, I take my time and I try to give everybody, not try to, but I provide a massage before any session. So one of the things that she does for me, she has stamina. She can give me a massage for 2 hours straight, 3 hours straight.
I didn't realize how long.
What are you doing
that
later?
really goes. I'm available. But yeah, just I know that sometimes you just have to get lost in it, because I can just imagine when he's doing it to me, I feel like I lose time. Like I'm able to kind of like go off into another place. I'm just feeling so good. And if I was rushing while I was doing it, then he's not going to feel that same type of energy. But once I get him nice and loose, I do some things to him.
Like what?
Well, okay, so we'll say oral is a big deal.
Okay.
Right? So we get really creative with the oral. So I'm always trying to like outdo myself because there's
like last night.
What did you do? What happened last night?
She woke me
I can't
up.
say the word. I can't say the word because that could get us banned for stuff.
No, well,
You
can.
can ban here. This is lip service.
Oh yeah, you
can
can.
say whatever
I can
you
say
want
that
here.
word.
She woke me up eating my ass last night. That was a thing.
That was like he looked so. I looked over and he was just like sleeping so like peacefully, and I was like, "Oh, this would be a great time to kind of like sneak under these covers." Yeah, he sleeps naked, but then there's like a little cover showing like a little thigh
Just
and
in
ass. And I'm
case,
like, he's tempting me. It's like he wants
Wow,
this.
that's nice.
So yeah, she
I've
woke
been
me
woken
up.
up like that before.
She woke me up doing that,
Me
and then something else that I'm big on that she's really, really good at is like I like her nibbling on my dick. I like her like biting.
Oh, so you like to see?
Yeah.
We've always
We get
heard
real
no tea.
animalistic.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. So it's
Like
not what you do,
soft
it's how
teeth,
you do.
not
Right?
hard teeth.
That's why I use the
And he
word
said
nibble,
nibble.
not bite. You know what I mean? So she's using it feels good. Like she grips it and then like it's a vibe.
I've been wanting to eat him up, so I just kind of like go with that feeling.
Can you nibble on his balls too, or is that
No,
too
I do
bad?
not like any touching on my balls.
I gotta be even careful sometimes when I'm like licking too hard. Like, I need to be careful in that area. So I'm like, okay, all right. But I know the spots.
Do you ever get jealous, like when he's with other clients?
Oh, wow. We were just talking about this when we were in Chicago. So especially like if we're on tour, because you know, the setup is completely different with the dungeon. Like it's a completely different room. I'm nowhere near there. But when we're on tour, you know, maybe we're like at an Airbnb and I have to be on the other side of the Airbnb. The session's happening. You can't help with the sounds that come out of there. I know what's going on in that room. So I kind of like, I waver between cuck and compersion. So there's times where I'm just like, yeah, baby, do it. Yes, I know she's enjoying this. And then there's times where I'm like, is this the one? Is this the one? It got a little too quiet. Is this the one? But then I have moments where it just, I hope nobody gets offended, but sometimes I get turned on and like, I'll do my own thing.
Hello.
You know?
Yeah, that's nice.
All right.
Well,
Because I have a thing for auditory, like the sound of it, you know?
Okay.
So
I called her. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, in Chicago. Anybody that was in Chicago, but every time I came out to get water for the client after the session, I caught her playing with herself every single time that I came out of
Get it,
there.
girl.
One time she was game banging herself out
right.
there.
That's
She had
damn,
four
like
toys
10
lined up.
fingers.
Wow.
She was like, I couldn't
I was
help
getting
it. It sounds so
creative.
good.
Nice. So it's safe to say you're into like voyeurism and
very much, very high on voyeurism, very much. I like to watch. I love the energy. For me, I'm a huge energy person. I was telling him one time there's been a couple times where he'll do a session and I feel like the energy's kind of bubbling out from the room and it kind of like hits me, you know? And whenever I go to like a party, if we're at a swing party or something, the more people are engaged and having a good time, that energy really just fills the room and it like lets me bring like all my guards go down and I'm just like, let me just be here. I'm just floating. Like,
Now,
what's
when you
gonna
guys
happen?
go to swinger
we all got
parties,
Yes. We're like, hold on.
wait, exactly. We all have to say.
Yeah.
I'm sure you
So
get a
you
lot of
guys-
clients at swinger parties.
Yeah, some they always ask me like, well, where can I find more people to do this? I'm like, you could come to this party, come to that party. So we have a pretty good community when it comes to the swinging in New York.
What about male clients?
I work with clients. I work with couples, not males by themselves. I do teach males at events and things like that. But as of right now, I don't do like one-on-one male clients in my dungeon. They have to come with like their partner where I could demonstrate on the woman and then show them like, stuff
You
like
think that men like things more violently than women do? Like step on my balls.
Oh, yeah. I believe that we do. No, actually, the
I was
crazy
gonna
thing.
say, I'm surprised you just said that.
No,
Actually,
not step on my balls, but I think that women women have a higher tolerance for pain than men in general.
Yeah,
I think
we
y'all
deal
just
with a
tougher.
lot.
Y'all just tougher. But
AKA
I think
menstrual cramps and childbirth.
Also, waxing, laser hair
waxing.
removal.
Right.
Oh my God, waxing is crazy. She
Yeah.
waxed my balls the last.
He only let me do half.
I
He
can't
gave up
believe you let her
halfway.
wax your balls.
I can't
and you
believe
won't
I
let
let
her
her wax
nibble
my
on them.
balls. I was
Yeah.
walking around with half my dick shaved because
Yeah, that's
so smooth. It was so
Men
smooth on
can't
that
handle
side.
that.
she was like, I went, oh my God, I was tortured. But to answer your question, another thing that she does for me is that I identify as a cuck. So a cuck is somebody that can derive pleasure from the idea of somebody else fucking their or engaging with their partner. So like when we're having sex, like she'll call me somebody else's name. She'll talk about somebody else that fucked her better than me.
At the party in the corner.
The guy in the corner.
I know you seen him. He was looking at me.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I'm just piggybacking off of that because you did ask her some of the things that she do for me. So she knows what I'm into and stuff.
So you have watched her have sex with other men?
Absolutely, yeah. I love that shit.
He loves it.
I love it.
So how was dating for you prior to you guys being together? Because she's down with the shits. Like she's here for it all.
I feel like I have a
right?
t-shirt that says
So
that.
prior to you guys, what was your dating life like? Because women are so jealous and women are so like, obsessive and, possessive.
So before her, so I've been in a lifestyle probably about like 9 years now. And before her, I was just still trying to find my footing and stuff like that. And in prior relationships, I was a cheater. And there's no excuse. I'm not going to justify it in anything like that. That's just how it was. As far as like intimacy between me and my partners, it was always good because that was something that I really loved and I was passionate about. But it's hard to make a relationship last if you're lying and you're cheating and stuff like that. So to sum it up, those relationships didn't work because I wasn't who I am today.
So the professional side didn't have anything to do with why your relationship.
When I got with her, I started pro-doming like officially. She was actually my second client.
Wow.
She was
I
actually
wouldn't have known that.
Got it.
So I did perform.
You got it early.
Yeah.
She was like, no, I'm not letting this go.
I invested when it started.
So
I invested
when
it was fresh.
before her, I was just doing performances at parties and things like that. In fact, the day that I did a session with her, we had to run out to go to a party after that, and she happened to be going to that party. Actually, I invited you, right? And we ended up going to that party together, and then she seen me do demonstrations on women on the table, and she was like,
bound chicka bam bam.
she was like, I should be your pimp.
So do you have an erection when you work with other women?
Oh, yeah, they loved it.
Do you ever come from it?
No, I've never been able to come from that. I actually whisper in the air, you should feel how hard my dick is while I'm touching you, and they like it. Like
they like
it all likes it because again, when a woman feels safe and they know they're not going to violate their consent because they're not consenting to sex,
right?
But they're okay with me talking about it. They're okay with learning. They're okay with knowing that I'm turned on, and I believe that they're turned on by the idea that I'm turned on. You know what I mean? And you also do you give classes, right? For people to learn how to do this. Yes. Okay, so are a lot of people signing up for these classes? Or I guarantee you after this, there's a few people. Yes, I believe. Yes, all the time. What we're doing now is we're starting to incorporate doing classes on tours. So the way that we do the tours now is that I go from city to city based on what the followers that I have and how they respond. You know, it was a bunch in Atlanta, a bunch in Chicago, so forth and so on. And what I was doing was I was only doing private sessions, but now we're going to start doing classes in those cities. We're also going to make time to do a performance in those cities as well.
Yeah. I have a question. Mm-hmm. So you don't actually have sex with your clients, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
And that's like a personal preference for like us. That's not something that we could say every dom does. Okay. You know, because you can't. What's the phrase? You don't yuck people's yums. Yeah. So some people do want to go far. There are people that pro dom both on the dominatrix side, meaning the woman side, and on the male side that will engage. Of course, is consenting. You know what I mean? They consent to all of those things. But her and I, we swing. So I tell a person like, if they're getting a little bit too frisky, which has never happened, but if every person was interested, I'm like, catch me at a party. Me and my woman will fuck the shit out of you together. Ooh. But I don't need to like do it in the dungeon because for me personally, my belief is that
I believe that a person can agree to something during that moment that they probably want to take back later, and I don't want that problem.
Do people have to sign something?
Yeah, we do
a waiver.
Like a waiver and stuff.
No, because I couldn't imagine a guy like giving me a massage and then telling me, "Oh my God, my dick is so hard," and then I can't have it.
Right.
So
I know.
I mean,
it's not going in my mouth.
As soon as I get out, let me see.
Where is it? Right here.
Okay, so can you do edging then? And then
yeah, I do edging all the time. That's a big part of what I do. I love to build up that orgasm from literally the beginning of our session all the way through. I don't allow people to come without my permission. They get punished for coming without my permission.
So there's definitely orgasms. Just no
definitely.
So can you finger a girl, like your finger, and do all of that?
I use non-latex gloves. I actually show them the ways that I keep us both safe during the negotiation. I'm very, very thorough with my negotiations, so they know exactly what they're getting into. And so to answer your question, fingering, penetration, toys, vibrators, I'm more big on vibrators and other forms of sensations. But I do have some clients that are like size queens that want to be stretched. They want to be filled. They want to be double penetrated. They want to try anal for the very first time.
Slowly raising.
Syphon, have you ever had a dick that was too big to go on your anus?
No, I'm sorry.
Let me answer for you.
Think about that. I give everything the college try, so I haven't.
I'm a trooper.
Haven't found one that I couldn't figure it out. So I'll say that.
We're gonna make it work.
Yeah, we might just need a little more lube. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, we do want to see this demonstration that you guys have for us. So we do get to move over to the table, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move over to the table.